The new patch is here, bringing us new commanders to Rise of Kingdoms, a way to change out items you don't need for a small amount of currency in the Alliance shop, a bigger area of effect for William, new KVK rewards, and more. Stick around as we break down everything you need to know about the latest patch. Hello my friends and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming. Today we're going to be breaking down for you the biggest things you need to know about in the patch that just hit the game, and there is so much to talk about and be excited about in this patch. If you like Rise of Kingdoms guides that help you get value and smash your enemies, consider smashing that subscribe button for daily Rise of Kingdoms videos. We're a sponsored content creator, and the first thing we're going to talk about from this patch is the equipment. There's a couple new items that you need to keep your eyes on. The first is a new set of legendary weapons making its way into the Forge. Now, these are only obtainable from the Lost Kingdom Crusader achievements. So I suspect this has to do with the new KVK format, and from that format, from your Crusader achievements, there's a chance to get one of these weapons. In addition, there are some really solid helmets. Now you'll notice the equipment level of these items is level 50, so even the set items are not as good as these items, which is fairly astonishing. These also come from Lost Kingdom Crusader achievements, so we don't know exactly how those would be obtained. There's probably some special new objectives you've got to take down, and when you do that, you get these rewards. But we're going to have to see how these are unlocked. There is no new chest piece, no new gloves, no new legs, no new boots, and there were a few new accessories, I believe, that popped up. Or maybe I just haven't looked. I've blocked these out of my mind because I've been looking at them for so long. But Call of the Loyal increases march speed by 5%. This is going to come from Lost Canyon, which is really exciting. A blue accessory is much more craftable, far fewer materials needed, as you can see over here. 70 blue materials is still a lot, but not going to break the bank in the same way that a legendary is with 120. Oh my god. This ring gives you 15% more commander experience. I can't imagine I'll ever make it. This ring gives you 5% more resources from gathering. I mean, I can't believe that I will ever make this, but I suppose we'll see what we end up doing. All in all, the new equipment looks extremely powerful if you can get your hands on it and then craft it, but the cost to craft this is really like you thought the lucky coin was an expensive thing, right? Like I did, you did. Here's Lucky Coin 2.0, baby. It's super expensive, and the gain truly is incremental. In fact, if you add the special talent on the Shield of the Eternal Empire, you would have 26.5% of stats, something like that, right? And if you didn't get the special talent over here, you'd have less stats. I don't know. I think this gear is really solid. I think it's very expensive. They need to give us more ways to get materials for it to be in reach for most players. But let's jump to something that is a little more in reach for most players. Let's talk about the new reclaim function that they have added to the Alliance shop. You may remember that I thought I was going to become a ROK millionaire when I could change in all my silver keys, and I thought that the reclaim function would let the Alliance shop, you know, reclaim the sorts of things that it already can sell. Seems logical, but not what Lilith was thinking. No, instead, you can reclaim completed and partial patterns for every tier except the legendary tier, which I think is a good thing. You can trade in star sculptures that you might no longer need, like these 18,423 green stars. Gosh bless. 8,951 blue stars. Those I'm actually excited to reclaim. You can even reclaim your Books of the Covenant and also your Arrows of Resistance for an embarrassingly low amount of currency. So low that, like, I'm probably not even going to turn these in the hopes that maybe they do something with them anyways, because this tiny amount of speed ups I will gain is so irrelevant. I'm not even going to bother. So I'm excited to change in these stars that I really don't need anymore, especially the green stars, the blue stars, I guess some amount of epic stars as well. For me, that's most exciting. The gray patterns also looking like a good thing to turn in. I would be very cautious to turn in your green and blue patterns. You kind of never know what's going to happen there. But gosh, what am I getting for my arrows of resistance, okay? Which normally would cost me 10 gems a pop. That's not a small amount of gems to be buying these with gems. It's about 2,000 arrows of resistance for one 3-hour speed up. I mean, I guess that's not nothing, right? I guess that's not nothing. Maybe I should turn in my arrows of resistance for those 3-hour speed ups. It's a decent amount of them. Like 52 3-hour speed ups if I did that math. 53 3-hour speed ups. I don't know. I'm probably just going to stick to the stars for now. And honestly, I wouldn't trade in things if you don't actually need anything right now. You never know what they might add to the Alliance shop, and you might want to have a lot of currency on hand. So if you want, you can go in, you can go ham, you could buy some VIP, you could buy some passports, whatever it is you think you need over here. I personally don't need anything right now, really. I'm just going to hang on to some of that currency. The biggest exchange I am going to make is trading in, really, like all the green stars, all the blue stars, a bunch of epic stars, turn those into 3-hour speed ups. I'm kind of looking forward to that. Oh, and I guess I can open all my silver keys now, huh? Now, for those of you that are a fan of William I, in the patch notes, they indicated that his area of effect was changing, specifically that it was going to get larger. We hypothesized maybe it's going to get wider, maybe it's going to get longer. We were hoping it would get wider rather than longer because the rectangle area of effect on William, who I have as a secondary right now, is really weird. So we get a look here, and how does it look? Honestly, I can't tell the difference. People are telling me that it's slightly longer. I mean, maybe it is. I really couldn't tell you. The area of effect for William, maybe that's a meaningful change, but to me, I can't even see the difference really. More area of effect is better for him, but honestly, I can't visually tell the difference. I'd have to take a picture of the before and after. It's that small. The next thing I want to show you is that there is a Halloween event inbound. We know this because they've done 2 Halloween events in the past, but the city skin is here. It gives you infantry attack and you lose archer defense. I actually think that's not bad. In general, I would rather have some infantry stats rather than some archer stats. I do prefer defense over attack, however, and that is because there is diminishing return on stats, and Ark of Osiris is already giving you 200% attack, plus the new format of KVK is giving you 50% attack now as well. That was also in the patch notes. Normally you get 15% of each stat when you complete your Crusader fort, so that means that attack is even less valuable than ever as a stat in my estimation. There is one other skin in here. The Imperial Crane Palace actually looks exceptional. It gives cavalry health. You lose infantry defense. I'd rather lose an archer stat personally, but this comes from a 2020 anniversary community event. So presumably this event has already happened. And if you got this skin, you got it. If you didn't, you didn't. Maybe there's a new community event that'll come around. Maybe this comes from multiple events. I don't know. You'll have to be on the lookout on the Facebook page for those community events. And that is the Rise of Kingdoms official Facebook page. Looking in on the nameplates, there is a new Halloween nameplate available. This will come from a Shifty Shades bundle, so we know there will be a Halloween bundle coming up. Looking in on the avatar frames, there is also a Halloween avatar frame to match. The Shifty Shades bundle is going to contain this, and typically we see the avatar frame in the name plaque and the $5 and $10 bundles. The thing that you're most excited for, and I'm most excited for, is the new commanders, baby. We're currently training in the Mightiest Governor for Zenobia. By the time this video goes live, we'll be doing our training later in the day. So we'll probably live stream that. Come on in, check that out if you're interested. I've got mixed feelings about Zenobia as a commander. Let's quickly review her skills, she is an infantry, garrison, and support tree commander. I actually really like that combination of infantry and support. There is one other infantry support commander who we are going to compare to. In fact, it is the exact same trees, and that is Constantine. Constantine is an infantry, garrison, support commander, and so is Zenobia. Looking at her skills, I've got some really mixed feelings here. This heals the nearest allied troop with the lowest percentage of units remaining for a healing factor of 300. And it can heal troops led by this commander. So this is interesting. You can heal yourself if you are the lowest percentage of troops remaining for a healing factor of 300. Then it heals their own troops on the next turn. That's interesting. On the next turn for a healing factor of 1,100 when maxed, and troops healed by this skill gain 40% health for 2 seconds. So you are buffing nearby marches with health, and you can buff yourself with health if you are the lowest percentage, which is kind of interesting. So in a best case for a garrison situation, and you'll see why that's relevant in a second, you are healing yourself for 1,400 healing factor, which is not amazing. And you are giving yourself 40% health for 3 seconds of duration in total. You would get it for 1 second from healing yourself, and then the 2 seconds for the second time that you heal yourself, assuming that the second time it replaces the first effect. Let's keep looking at the skills. Unmatched Beauty. While this commander is leading a garrison of your own city or a stronghold, so again, this is a garrison commander, troops led by this commander take 15% reduced damage from normal attacks. Now, you know from my Joan of Arc video, this language normal attacks is kind of funky. Joan of Arc does more normal attack damage, which means she's actually doing like more regular attack damage and counter attack damage. So does this mean that Zenobia is taking less damage from regular attacks and taking less damage from counter attacks? That's actually pretty legit anti-swarm technology, especially for an Ark of Osiris context. It also makes it so she deals 15% more normal attack damage. Does that mean that her normal attacks or basic attacks and counter attacks get boosted? I would guess yes. This is actually very, very strong. Like deceptively strong. If it's basically making it so that she does 15% more normal and counter attack damage and also takes 15% less normal and counter attack damage. That's very good. Looking in at the next skill, infantry units led by this commander gain 20% health and 20% attack. 40% of stats is kind of what you expect on a commander in this day and age, which is kind of insane, but that is on target. All troops led by this commander deal 10% more damage to rallied armies. So I think that's also really solid if you're worried about rallies, which you should be in Ark of Osiris and beyond. Looking now at the final skill, while this commander is leading a garrison of your own city or stronghold. So we do actually have multiple skills dependent on being a garrison commander, which I find fairly disappointing because we've already just gotten 2 new garrison commanders very recently in the game. And now we're looking at yet another garrison commander whose sole purpose really is to be a garrison commander. Especially weird because they've got some really great open field healing capabilities, which could be really good, but let's see what the rest of this does. So when you are a garrison captain, attacks of troops led by this commander have a 10% chance to deal extra damage per second to the target. That's 600 damage factor for 3 seconds. That's actually a solid amount of damage. 1,800 damage to your target. This is not anti-swarm technology. The attacks of troops led by this commander. I think that's your basic attack and not your counterattacks. If this procs off of counterattacks too, okay, this would be very good if it also works from your counterattacks, but I don't think that's what that language is saying. Looking in on the expertise skill, we are enhancing our active skill, and we're making it so that now we heal a nearby allied troop, but that bumps up to 2 allied troops, while leading the garrison of your own city or a stronghold with the lowest percentage of units remaining, so that is a healing factor still of 300. Then heals your own troops on the next turn for healing factor 1,100. That's the same as it was before. And troops healed by this skill gain 50% health for 2 seconds. That's sort of interesting. So now you're looking at 50% health for 3 seconds if you yourself are the lowest health target, because that first skill can hit yourself as well, I believe. Yes, it does still say can heal troops led by this commander. So in a best case, you're getting a total of 150 health, spread over 3 seconds. So really it's 50 health per second. And I'm mentioning that because I want to compare just very quickly to another commander that doesn't do active skill damage, and that's Constantine. If you look at Constantine, and we just try to compare, like, is this commander better? Is this commander worse? Constantine is giving you 40% attack reduction of the enemy, and that's for 5 seconds. So that's a grand total of 200% of value spread across 5 seconds, compared to the 150% of value that you're getting if you hit yourself with the heal as the garrison captain. I'm doing all this funky math because here's the thing. Here's the thing I'm struggling with, really struggling with Zenobia, which is that healing is an effect that I think is really unimpressive. And it's unimpressive for a garrison captain. First of all, because it's so countered so many ways. You've got Ramses, you've got Alexander the Great, you've got Saladin. A lot of commanders are countering healing. So yeah, she's gonna heal, but does anybody care? Ramses cuts the healing by 100%. That is not good. Now, assuming that even if you still get the buff, despite the fact that your healing has been reduced 100%, and we don't know that that's actually going to work that way, because like troops healed by this skill gain health. Well, are they healed if the 100% healing debuff is applied? I don't know. What I'll say is that in most garrison and rally situations, you know how you can emulate healing without actually using any skills or talents? You just have somebody put more troops into the garrison, and it's like it got healed. So the only place where this healing is really compelling to me is in ROK of Osiris, where, look, you can't just teleport your city next to a flag and fill it endlessly if you wanted. So I think that this could be okay in an ARC context, maybe, because you're healing all those nearby marches too, and that's actually pretty good. But the problem is that, like, I would rather my garrison captain not worry about everybody else nearby, just worry about yourself, because literally when you're the garrison captain, troops are dying, right? With the exception of ROK of Osiris, where they're not dying. But if you're captain, I want you to do one thing: make your garrison better. I really don't care about all the other marches around. So I think that this is interesting. I think that the combined healing factor of 1,700 is decent if you're healing multiple targets and yourself. Yes, the 50% health bonus when expertised is a big deal, but I find myself very concerned about this active skill really tanking the overall effectiveness of this commander. Now, there are some really neat things that you can do with the support tree. We won't go too in-depth into talents in this video. However, I'll point out that you can get counterattack whenever you're healed. You will have your attack increased. I think that's really solid. You can also increase your healing effects, which is kind of amazing when you think about the fact that you're going to be doing a lot of healing. So I think that that infantry support tree combination is kind of a cool idea, but I'm very concerned about Zenobia and her relevance. We'll be unlocking her from this Mightiest Governor cycle, and we'll be making footage of her as soon as she is available in the game for people to actually be playing with. The next commander that's coming into the game is going to come from the Wheel of Fortune, and this one, oh baby, this commander is very exciting and has a lot of potential. They are an infantry conquering skill tree commander. Where have we seen this before? Juan Yu has the exact same combination of trees. Their active skill is very unusual. It's doing something different when you're surrounded versus not. If you're not surrounded, you are going to deal 1,200 damage factor to the target. That is very unimpressive damage. Like very, very, very unimpressive damage. A baseline for damage would be Khan offering 1,700 damage factor. That I think is solid. This 1,200 damage factor, I'm not excited. What is exciting is that if you're surrounded, now you can hit 3 targets and you do area of effect damage and have your damage factor go up to 1,500. Now that is exciting. That is exciting. You get surrounded and you start doing AoE, that's nuts. Damage dealt to each target is reduced by 15% for each additional target. That's standard language on AoE damage, otherwise it would be completely out of control. And after using this skill, troops gained increased damage of 20% for 2 seconds. That's very good. That's very solid. I'm pretty happy with that. 2 seconds is enough time to buff the active skill of the second commander you're using. So to me, this reads like Harald should be a primary commander. I like what I'm seeing so far. There's a lot of promise here. Against a single target, I'm a little concerned, but the anti-swarm technology is amazing. And people, you're going to tell them don't swarm, and it's going to take them months to understand, oh, I don't swarm this or not. Trust me, we know that from Attila Takeda, okay? So the Viking Battle Axe is the next skill. When attacking strongholds and cities, infantry units led by this commander gain 10% attack. That's not very much. Not very impressed. Whenever they take damage, they have a 10% chance to reduce the damage taken by 30%. Now, that is exciting. What worries me is it says they have a 10% chance to reduce that damage. I don't know if that's all damage taken for that 1 second, or if that is just that damage taken. Because if it's just that damage taken, that's actually not amazing compared to all damage taken over the next second. Because, look, 30% damage reduction from like some march that's off to the side that's low health and normal attacking you is not amazing. And it then prevents you for the next 5 seconds from actually having that damage reduction effect happen for like the active skill of the enemy that's the garrison captain. You know what I mean? So I feel like this might be amazing, it might be lackluster, depending on how exactly that works. Looking to the next skill, Varangian Guard. Infantry led by this commander have 30% increased attack. That's what I'm talking about. That's a lot of attack. And they have 10% march speed. I like that a lot. Infantry really need their march speed. When this commander uses an active skill, all infantry under their command gain 5% attack, but lose 5% defense. This effect lasts for 8 seconds and can stack 15 times. This is kind of wacky. The thing that's weird about this effect is that I would rather have had the defense than the attack. And I get that he's doing skill damage, but generally point for point, health is the most efficient, then defense, and then attack. And that's because there's diminishing returns on having more of a stat. The only way in which that might not be true is if somehow attack is just so insanely good for active skills. But I don't think that that's the case. I don't think that's the case because when we were testing shields, the only thing that was influencing shields was really the number of troops that you had in the march. So I actually don't know exactly why I would want so much more attack. I think this mechanic is interesting, but I think it also makes him really vulnerable to the counter rally. I think it makes him really vulnerable to getting swarmed. Although I don't know. Maybe increasing attack by a ton is actually really good anti-swarm technology, and it's going to cause a lot of the enemy troops to be put in the hospital. I'm not entirely sure, but all in all, I maybe don't even care. Like, you're increasing attack and I'm losing defense. I don't know why I would want this yet, but I'm eager to find out. Looking to the next skill, Stamford Bridge. When troops led by this commander are on the map and deal damage. So they can't be in a resource node, they can't be in a city, they can't be in a stronghold, they can be in a rally, they can be in the field. This commander has a 20% chance to use their active skill and grant immunity to all defense reduction for 3 seconds. That's awesome. This skill can trigger once every 5 seconds. Wow, that's exciting. So there is a 20% chance when he deals damage. Does that include counterattacks to an enemy unit? How does that work? Does deal damage must mean like your basic attack onto an enemy? They must mean your basic attack has a 20% chance to trigger again. And it's also going to give you the immunity to defense reduction, which is really kind of a cool idea. Who is reducing defense, however, that we should be worried about? Let's go get a look at that real quick. Okay, Ethelfled is reducing defense. Cool. Who else reduces defense of the target? Honestly, like, there's not a lot of folks that reduce defense. How much do I care about that? Juan Yu can silence you. YSS, Garrison Captain? I don't think he's reducing defense. Honestly, like, there are not really a lot of commanders that reduce defense. Here we have one. Chandragupta reduces defense. I guess that's interesting. I don't know. Is there a meta commander that actually does this other than Ethel? I don't think there is, actually. Okay, Tamaris? Are we worried about Tamaris reducing our defense? Not particularly. Takeda doesn't reduce defense. Theodora doesn't reduce defense to the target. I mean, like, William's not reducing defense. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in love with it. Even Mulan she's not reducing defense. She's buffing. She's buffing, but not reducing defense. I'm not entirely sure how relevant that is, giving you some defense immunity, but okay, I'll take it. Maybe somebody's going to swarm with Ethelfled in an Ark of Osiris situation, and you're immune, and that's good. Or maybe there's going to be some new skill. Maybe there's going to be some new skill in the new KVK that makes it so you can do a defense reduction and you're immune. That could be good. Looking to the expertise skill, Valhalla, counterattack damage dealt on the map is increased by 20%. I love that. That anti-swarm technology is super real. Punish the heck out of people for swarming you. And like, yeah, when you're rallying something and it's attacking you back, you do counterattack damage too. So it's good against the garrison. It's good if you're getting swarmed. Speaking of which, if you're surrounded, your counterattack damage dealt will be further increased. And that amount that it goes up by is the number of enemies surrounding by 2%, with an upper limit of 10 enemies. So you get 10x surrounded, you do 20% more bonus damage for counterattack. Very nice. Very nice. So this could represent an upwards of 40% extra counterattack damage. Now, granted, if you're getting 10x surrounded, you're probably getting wrecked anyways. So I don't know exactly how much that matters, but I like the boost to counterattack there. Very, very solid. All in all, I think Harald could be a really sick rally commander, especially with all of his anti-swarm technology. That's a part of what makes Attila Takeda so great, is there's just not a great way to deal with them other than to have a good counter in your garrison. Harald may work out that same way. We'll see. I'm lukewarm on Zenobia, who's coming from Mightiest Governor. Again, we'll see how she performs. I'm going to live stream my training for Zenobia, if possible, later tonight. So be on the lookout for that live stream. I'm also going to be live streaming the Wheel of Fortune for Harald. We're going to have that tonight as well. So if you haven't already subscribed, consider subscribing to the channel to see the latest and greatest things hit the game the moment that they happen, so you don't miss a thing. Let me know down below in the comments what part of this patch you're most excited for. There are a few things we didn't cover, but all in all, y'all, this is an exciting patch. Until next time, my friends, you have fun smashing the kingdom.